What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down some big news involving the markets, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But let me just mention that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, as far as Tesla goes, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure trying to develop right over here. And we're seeing some buyers trying to defend it as we saw Tesla close just at 200 for the day. So the question is, will Tesla get a nice bounce from here? Is Tesla about to dip? I'll be giving you guys some insights about this. But let me just mention that for next week, the week that's coming up, just notice that there's not really anything crazy for Monday. We just have consumer inflationary expectations. But starting Tuesday, things become very wild. For Tuesday, we have the PPI data report coming out. This will give us more insights for projections of CPI. This is going to be our producer price index, giving us more wholesale price levels. And I think that's going to be very important for the way things end up moving. So that's going to be important for us. And then going into Wednesday, we have CPI data coming out. CPI is going to be massive for the markets. If the market is rallying, approaching CPI, we'll see if this leads to a big rug pull or not. So make sure you guys are prepared for this just to be safe. When it comes to more news, there's a lot of tensions right now involving Iran, the Middle East, and many other countries. I just want to say that this is very important now because there's been a lot of major threats that just came out over the last couple of hours about massive, massive attacks. I just want to say that's not great news. If there is something that happens over the weekend, that could invalidate a lot of technicals, and the market could get a rug pull. So just be careful if this were to happen. I want to say that right now it might be a little unlikely for it to happen that soon, but just to be safe, you never know. So just be prepared for this just in case. I just also want to say that this is horrendous news. Things like this should never happen. At the end of the day, as always, those everyday people who pay the biggest cost. So it's very sad to see this. Hopefully, nothing happens over the weekend. If something happens over the weekend, things could shift for the markets, and that could invalidate lots of these bullish signals. So we'll see how it goes. On top of this, I just want to mention that when it comes to earnings, we have lots of retail coming out for the week. On Tuesday, we have the Home Depot, not to mention Intuit's machines. Then for Wednesday, we have Dole and Cisco. For Thursday, we have Alibaba, Walmart, JD, and John Deere, and then some more retail as time goes on. So pretty important retail ones are coming out for next week, but nothing as significant as Apple. It's just something that's worth noting. Right now, fear is making up the majority of sentiment. We're starting to see the fear and greed index getting closer to fear. This is shifting a little bit more in the rightward direction as the gauge is becoming less fearful because the market's getting bought back up. Also, I just want to note that the puts and call option positioning is starting to dip a little bit. The reason for that is because we're starting to see a little bit of a shift. We're seeing less puts being bought, a little bit more calls, and we're starting to see some puts being closed. Volatility is also neutral right now, kind of in the middle, as the VIX is dipping, so that's also very important. Right now, there's a 50-50 chance of the Fed giving us a cut, according to reports. So I just want to call that out. A cut between 50 and 25 basis points. That's where the 50-50 mark is. And we're going to most likely get a cut, but we just don't know the exact levels. Now, this will shift depending on CPI. So we'll see what CPI gives us. There is some news coming out involving Tesla as they're launching an FSD, free supercharging and premium connectivity bundle for the Model S and X. Tesla launched a 3-year subscription bundle for the Model S and X. The $5,000 bundle includes access to full self-driving FSD supervised, free supercharging, and premium connectivity. The website's showing the 3-year subscription bundle is only available for the Model S and the X. The Model 3 and Y orders are only allowed for purchase. Basically, FSD at its full price. So it's only allowed for if you purchase FSD for the full price, then that's going to give you guys access to this bundle. So if you break this down, essentially, if you look at the way this is looking, the 3-year bundle does actually kind of like save things. At least it saves some money for people in a way. If you look at the costs over here, if you have FSD, it's $99 a month. Premium connectivity is about $9.99, and then you add $30 of free supercharging per month. After 3 years, it adds up to about $5,000. That's why they have this bundle. Maybe a lot of people who are interested in this will try to use it because you have so many things that come together. So that is something else that's worth noting. When you add everything else together, the 3 services amounts to about $5,000 per year, but you could buy them all together if you were to take the bundle. So that's something that's worth noting for these models. So if people are interested in these models and these like nice little updates, that's something they could consider. Otherwise, it's up to you guys. Anyways, let's talk about the charts now. What do I see for Tesla? Remember, guys, if there's any bad news that comes out, if anyone attacks someone else, or if it's very very significant, the market could get a move to the down. So that's always a possibility. As of right now, that has not happened. So we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure on Tesla that is developing. If we break resistance all the way up here around this 202 area, we could be looking for a push all the way back up towards 205, if not 208. Right now, the hourly time frame shows that Tesla could be starting to uptrend just temporarily. I am not whatsoever saying that this is going to last forever. I'm not saying this will last a very, very long time. I'm just saying that for now, we look a little bit more bullish. However, excuse me. However, my view could change later on if we get a rejection after CPI. So for now, we have a nice looking structure. We're testing at this low at 180. We came back up. Then we made a higher low, and we're continuing to make higher lows, and we're fighting the same resistance. So this is forming a bullish wedge, and this suggests that Tesla has upside potential, in my opinion. I even called upside in my video from yesterday, and that's what happened today. So look at this resistance at 200 or 20 EMA. If Tesla manages to break this, we could push even higher. I think, in my opinion, with the inverse head and shoulders, this chart is favoring the upside. There's a good chance we see even more buyers step in. To be bearish on Tesla, you want to see us basically lose 192, and we will really start dropping if that ends up being the case, if we close below that. So we'll see how it goes. But as of right now, I just want to say that Tesla is looking like it wants to push temporarily, and we might see a temporary pump to the upside back around the 205 plus area. I do see that potentially coming. Now, it all depends on data and such, but let me just say that for now, that's what the market's going to likely do, just temporarily. SPY is trying to rebound as well. We're going to be looking for a test of 535 next week. Uh, During the start, if anything, if we break that, I think 540 is coming for that gap fill. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. But just remember, guys, I'm not saying the market's going to rally to all-time highs. I'm saying this could just be a temporary rally because we could always reject near 540 and make a new low. That's always a possibility, okay? And I think that temporarily we are trying to push and we may continue to do so. I also think that it kind of resembles this pattern right here, forming like this nice W, kind of like how we did here, only to establish a lower high and then reject. There's a good chance that's going to happen, but I'm not going to worry about that quite yet. I will talk more about that later. For now, the market is looking bullish. As of right now, we're going to push a little bit higher, most likely, and we're going to be looking for 535. I'll talk more about the possible rejection going into my video for tomorrow, by the way. For Nvidia, we have a bullish looking structure right here. If we manage to break past 108, I'm going to be looking for a push all the way up towards the 112 area. But just know Nvidia has a tendency of doing this where it establishes these little rebounds. So there's no guarantee this is going to last forever. But let me just say that for now, Nvidia might try to push for 108. For others out there, we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin's trying to make a higher low. If we hold above 59,500, we could continue to push all the way up towards 62,000. If we lose this, we'll be looking for a dip back down to 57,000. But this chart is favoring the upside. It's still trying to uptrend. For the QQQ, it's the same thing. Essentially, we're trying to uptrend as well. Look at resistance at 454 and see if we could break that. So far, we're doing a pretty good job at holding up, and I could see us push towards that resistance. So the market looks like it's temporarily bullish. For Apple, we had this nice looking wedge that was forming, and you guys can see we're trying to break out of it. We're above our 50 EMA as long as we hold above 215. I think Apple could go all the way up towards 219. If we lose 215, we turn back to bearish, but this is favoring upside. The IWM is also favoring upside, might try to push up towards 207 to 208. If we break that, we could push higher, but I think we're going to at least get up to 208 very soon. For Coinbase, watch this 195 area. If we hold above this, 200 could be coming, and eventually our resistance at 208 could come. If we lose to 195, we could be dipping back down to about the 180s, but this is favoring that it's going to try to push. Amazon has a nice potential for upside. In my personal opinion, I think that 167 is where we have this resistance. If we break that, we'll be looking for basically 170 plus. But I like this uptrend we're seeing on Amazon. Looks pretty good to me. For Meta, we have a nice looking bullish structure. We have this resistance around this 520 area. If that breaks, I'll be looking for basically 525. And if we end up rejecting here, we'll be dipping back down towards 510. This is favoring upside for the 520s in my personal opinion. Microsoft is looking more bullish, going to be looking for a push for basically the 414 area as long as we hold above 406. So we favor upside. Google is at resistance barely at 165. If we could break that, we could fill the gap up to about 167, but we'll have to just wait and see. So for now, I see a temporary push on Tesla so long as we don't get bad news over the weekend. However, I'm not saying this is going to last forever. It could just be a temporary move. Okay, and I'll give you guys more insights about why that is in my later video for tomorrow. So, that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day and peace out.